Hello my beautiful Pisces, and welcome back to Intuitive Energies. My name is Jane and I do readings for Pisces. I also do life path number readings. That channel is in the description box below. I also do Connected to Deck Tarot, and that's a different channel where I look at all the different tools that I use. I do silent flip throughs, and then I do other just videos about just anything tarot or divination. And we have a chat, so if you're into that stuff, please make sure to go check those out. Thank you so much for being here. We're doing the readings for this week. Now, the way it's going to go is that today, we're going to do the weekly. And then on Tuesday, I'm going to see where you're at. You know, it's like not quite the midweek, but kind of like, you know, we're getting along to see if we can push it along, if the energy needs to be pushed along. And on Thursday we do the oracle message, and monthly, the end of the month I do for the next month coming in. Okay, so let's see here. I'm taking my two latest decks, new to me decks, and because I love them so much. They're so great. They don't really match each other, but who cares? Who cares? I just want to use them, and I'm going to. Here we go, my beautiful Pisces. Let's see. Okay, so we have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is the Knight of movement. I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer, okay? So I'm sorry for the wiggling and jiggling. Oh, my camera's a little bit off here. My apologies. I know, I should have done this beforehand, right? But you're okay with it. You're okay with this. Let's move the light in a little bit closer. And the heart, right? The labradorite heart. Alright, so there we go. Knight of Swords. Just zooming in so that you can get a good look at the picture. In this deck, I feel that the Knight is very protected. You notice how you just see his eyes. And he's like covered from head to foot. He is really covered. Like it's almost like he's shielding himself for maximum destruction. It's like if I hit something with speed, I'm going to be okay. Because I'm really covered. Okay? And then you have the Page of Pentacles to accompany it. Interesting. So, what could this mean for you, my beautiful Pisces? Both the Knight and the Page, I feel, are well, first of all, one follows the other. So you have the thought and then you have the action. So I feel that both of these together feel like you have something that you've been really spending time learning about right here. The Page of Pentacles. He's the apprentice. He's the one figuring out, like, what can I learn here, right? It's about being a student, really looking at something, learning, gaining new knowledge and skills. And I feel that's maybe what he's doing. I mean, look at all this energy. And he's really, really looking at this flower, okay? Really getting the insight. And if you really look at him, it's almost like he's wearing from head to foot. He's covered. Like his arms are covered, his head's covered. Almost like he's ready to put on this armor, okay? Because you would need. This would be very cold, and so it's almost like you need an underlayer. I feel that you have been preparing for something, knowledge, skills, to move it forward, to really take action and push it in the right direction, ready to take the speed that's going to be required to push this through, okay? So that's a feeling. I feel like there's a preparation happening. You're in the launch mode of things, you know, like I've learned the stuff. Now I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to move. I like that. It feels right. It feels very exciting too. So whatever this is, you're very excited to bring it forward. Maybe a little trepidatious, maybe a little bit of fear. But I think that you're ready. It's this pentacle that is teaching me that you have done your homework, or you're doing your homework. Let's see what your block might be, okay? And the tower becomes a block. Yay. Alright, so... But remember what I said about the knight, right? He's like dressed ready from head to foot, almost like expecting a crash or maybe something to fall on him. I have no idea. I almost feel like it's anticipation of chaos. I almost feel that's what came in, right? Wow, the block is the High Priestess and the Hierophant, which in this case would be like the High Priest and the High Priestess. They're like each other's almost counterparts if you look at it, the feminine and the masculine. Okay, so what I'm going to say here is I'm going to name both of their qualities here. The High Priestess is very intuitive. She receives, okay? The High Priestess being the more masculine would be the one who takes that wisdom and turns it into something, right? He takes belief systems, makes them applicable. He's the teacher. He learns, but he also teaches new things. He's flexible in that, okay? The only time that he's not is if he decides that, you know, it's almost like I am the law, right? That, you know, what's written is forever and there's no flexibility in it. That's when High Priest has a problem, okay? So all of this is a delicate balance that happens between these two. I love that. I love that. And I feel that the chaotic moment here is I feel that this is a very intuitive pair if you have them together. And they balance each other out. I think that the block here is that you're afraid, and you know, I'm going to tell you something, and some people are going to go, sacrilegious, how can you say that? When you receive intuitive hits, there's always a very mental part of you that goes, but is this real? Is this not just real, in other words, is this a real, like, should I follow this advice that I'm receiving intuitively, okay? Because there's nothing to, a lot of the time, there's nothing to prove that it's going to work. There's no written going, if you do this, this is going to absolutely work. It's something that you receive and you feel and you put into action. So if it's an intuitive kind of hit thing that you received, sometimes you fear the worst, right? What if I, you know, go headlong in this, trust my intuition, and crash, you know, crash and burn? And that's what I feel. There's an apprehensive moment. I would say that maybe it's some of you don't know the difference between a thought and an intuitive feeling. And that's another thing that a lot of people don't talk about, okay? Because it's hard to explain. But I always like to explain it this way. An intuitive feeling is something that doesn't have any real like thread to it. Let's say, I'm going to explain it this. This is the best way that I can explain it. I look at a flower. Flower makes me think of a bee. A bee makes me think of honey. Honey makes me think of sweet. Sweet makes me think of something to put on pancakes. You know, stuff like that. You see the thread of thought that goes in, okay? A lot of people could say, well, you know, I thought of honey, and that was an intuitive hit to have honey because it's got healing stuff. No, it's really just a thought going down a pathway, right? I'm not saying that these don't have an intuitive feel to them. They can. Thoughts can ramble on until they get you to a certain point. And that's all well and fine. But a real intuitive hit would be, and I always say that, it would be going through this entire train of thought, going honey, bee, honey, and suddenly you think, the store, not the store at the corner. How do I say this? How do I do this? See, when I try to do it, I can't. But let's say, all right, I'm thinking, oh, there you go. Honey, and then elephant. It would be like, what? Right? You go from flower to bee to honey to suddenly you have this intuitive hit that says elephant, and you're going, what does that have anything to do with anything? Intuition is something that kind of hits you out of nowhere. And that's the way that I always feel about it. I can be out in nature, being very, very quiet, and then something random will come in. And I always feel that that's just more intuitive than anything else. Some of my greatest ideas have come out of nowhere. I will be sitting with my husband having a conversation about something, nothing related to anything that I'm doing here, and suddenly I will get an intuitive hit about something that I should be doing. Maybe an idea. And don't expect them. Sometimes, the other part that I like to tell people is don't expect them to come in when you want them. Sometimes they'll come in at the weirdest time. Sometimes they'll come in when you're the quietest. Sometimes they'll come in when your mind is busy stopping to worry less about things. You may be really enjoying your moment and you'll get a hit. It's because I feel that your guides, whoever is trying to help you with the messages, are trying to find an opening where you're not rambling on through your mind. Okay? So I've tried to explain it a little bit about how that is. So just be open, I would say, to everything that comes in. And if something really random, trust it, okay? You feel it. It's a different vibe as well. Your body seems to react in a different way. They go, isn't that peculiar? That would be the vibe, right? Oh, well, that was kind of out of nowhere, wasn't it? That vibe, that feeling, you'll feel it, okay? So, what is your worry? What is your block? Is this really intuitively driven? Will this lead me to destruction? Am I following a fool's path? Would probably what I'm thinking here. So let's see. Let's see how Spirit can help you here. How can they help you with this? How can they guide you and help you through this? Queen of Swords. That's what I was saying. Differentiate between thought and intuition. Okay? The Queen of Swords is the Queen of Thoughts. She's got the strength of character. She's independent. She has clear communication skills, right? She makes sense of her thoughts. It's like, yep, this, and it all makes sense, right? But, you know, she can be very critical of her own thoughts. And I think that be critical of your thoughts and differentiate between thought and intuition, right? Two of Cups. Let's put this together right here. Put it together. Two of Cups. Harmonize with yourself. Absolutely. Okay? Harmonize with your body and your intuition. Harmonize with your thoughts. Know what a thought feels like. Know what intuition feels like. And you're saying, but if I don't and I'm just learning now, learn. That's it. Learn. Be critical of everything that comes in. Did that come out of nowhere, or was it a rambling thought? You know, and do it the same way as well when you're, you know, something comes in and it feels like you're trying to talk yourself out of it. Where's that come from? Is it your little voice in your head telling you I'm scared and I don't want you to do stuff, right? Trying to give you all kinds of reasons why you shouldn't be doing something to kind of maybe protect you from the tower that could possibly come in? Maybe. That's definitely thinking. And it can also be part of old wounds, a self-protection system that the physical and the human body and the mind wants to put in to make sure that you don't get hurt, right? But sometimes it goes past that. The Two of Cups is about the heart. And maybe that's what they're explaining as well. A thought is a thought, but it creates a feeling. A thought creates a feeling, right? You're thinking, I could do this, but I could fail. Right away the feeling is, oh, I don't know, right? You get that tight feeling of, oh, I want to protect, no. When it comes from a heart space, the thought will create love, but more than that, love will create a happy thought. So there's a switch up. If you start with the heart, you'll harmonize, and it'll harmonize your thoughts to a better spot. When you harmonize your thought to a better spot, the intuition comes in. So it's almost like flipping. I feel like they're saying flip it around. Start with a feeling of peace. Okay, if it's even just not thinking of anything at all. Harmonize with yourself. Sit there and go, I'm in pure harmony with myself. I'm happy. I'm happy with me. I'm happy with my environment. I'm happy with everything that I have. Everything that will come in the next minute. Everything. I'm just happy with it. And then start feeling the peace and love and harmony in your heart. And let it bring peace to your brain. When you do that, you will have a lot more success, trust me, in differentiating between disparaging, protective, and clear thoughts, because you have clear thoughts as well. It is a wonderful tool, and intuition. You'll start being able to tell the difference between which is which, but you have to harmonize. You kind of have to do the masculine, feminine, right? Masculine and feminine right here. Okay? Put them together and let them do their job. Let them put you in balance. Let them put you in balance. It's one of the great tools that we have while we are here. We have the feminine and the masculine. It's not random. It is the way we try to balance the way we live here in this perception on this planet. This is a tool. Okay? Alright, so what else can they give us? Let's see what else they can give us, Pisces, for this week. Okay? Didn't know it'd be giving like a a whole section about intuition. But so many people talk about intuition and they don't really talk about intuition, you know what I mean? They talk about it, but they don't really explain it. And I found that very hard when I first began, especially trying to find my way. What's real, what's not? What's imagination? What is what, right? Especially if you're a person who really wants to have some kind of, I don't know, a little bit of a clearer path of what things are. And that's not wrong, okay? It's not bad, and it's not wrong. Does it take away from the magic? Well, magic is only fun if you can bring it into real focus, right? You have the Five of Cups and the Page of Wands. All I feel with this is I feel that sometimes you're dealing with broken pieces. It's to recognize the stuff that's not broken and the stuff that is, right? Because along with your thoughts, along with stuff, you have the baggage of everything that you've experienced since you were young. Some of it good, some of it not so great. You've got to kind of put life back into it. This might be like a whole new experience for you of putting life into something that you thought was just dead and done, okay? Like this cup, you say, I can't drink out of it, it's broken, it's no good. But you're reaching for it, you're looking at it. Why is that? Because in the broken, there's something to be seen. There's something you may be able to utilize, you may be able to repurpose, you may be able to fix. There is all kinds of stuff that you could be doing. And this page is all about that. It's about putting the zhuzh back into it, right? It's good news, it's new ideas. It's like sometimes doing things in a very different way, okay? In an inspirational type of way. Really putting the magic, repurposing, seeing stuff, the beauty, everything in it, making it new, okay? And learning to use your energy to meet your goals. This is absolutely. So They're saying, again, think beyond the things, beyond the thought, beyond just the ramblings of the mind. Understand, well, I just had a rambling. I went from flower to this to this. You're going, okay, I'm completely, but is it leading me down a happy path? Is it leading me down a bad path? And why do I fear certain paths? Why do I, oh no. Okay? I have conversations with myself. One recently was that I got very anxious at the end of the day. And I've realized it's because I'm forgetting things. And it's because of a certain time of life where my hormones are playing havoc on my memory. And sometimes I can't hold on to certain things. Like I will say, place this over here, but it's over here. And all day I'll have that thought, place that over there. And by the end of the day, I completely forgot. These thoughts cause me anxiety, even though I have had a very productive day. The thought of forgetting to do one thing on my list of things that I used to be able to do every day without forgetting a single thing is now causing me anxiety. But I had to take the time to realize that that was a problem. Because I could get to the end of the day and think, I've had a really productive day. Why am I feeling so anxious? This is you being aware of the thoughts and the patterns and why things are causing you anxiety when they shouldn't. So, I'm trying to develop a system where I'm going to write down the random thoughts, the things that I want to do in a day. And just writing them down, even though I don't do them, at least I know I'll feel like I haven't forgotten them, right? I feel like, okay, I don't need to be anxious because I wrote down everything I wanted to do when I thought of it, even if it's notes on the phone, a voice recorder on the phone, even if it's sending texts to myself. I will have it all in one place, and it will stop the anxiety from building. Anxiety is a killer of intuition, and a killer of happy thought, and a killer of heart space. So take the broken and find a new inspirational way to fix it. Note-taking, voice recording, text messages. Do you understand? So I'm giving you an example of what things to do. So, that's just me, and this may not be you. You may remember everything, and that's fine. But there may be something that is troubling you, and to know the why, and to nip it in the bud, so that you can let the good thoughts, the good feeling just flow through you, instead of being always encumbered with that, will help you greatly. Alright, so I always say, what's the outcome? But I don't like that. I feel like Ace of Cups. I feel like it's what's the solution? What's the solution to all of this? Let's do that instead. What's the solution to get to the end of the week? I love the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is, again, we're focusing on the heart space. Focus on the heart, okay? If you're gripped with fear, it's your mind, and it's something that's controlled. Your mind controlled the space in your heart to replace it with fear. I always feel that. There's no place in the heart to feel love when it's all surrounded in fear. So bad for the body, too. So bad for the body. Did something turn? Okay. Right. So we had the Page of Pentacles, but now we have the King of Pentacles. I feel there's a great symmetry between the two, okay? The first card and the last cards. I think there's a great thing coming in with this. I feel that if you look at these and then you look at this, you'll see right away what the pattern is. The Knight of Swords, even though he's like the queen, the queen and the king of speed, the Knight is like speed, okay, and movement. But it's mind. It's the air sign. Okay? So you took your knowledge and you're putting it in the brain. You're packing it up in the brain, you're doing, but it's causing a bit of problems. It's hitting speed bumps is what I feel they're saying. You want the speed, but your mind is not letting you take, because there's not the purity of heart going along with it. It's the mind controlling the rest of the body. It's sending the signals telling you fear, danger, be careful, what, this doesn't make sense, you know, like all of that stuff, okay? It's telling you, your intuition, what is that, right? It's questioning intuition. Is it really intuition? Your mind's doing all of that. It's giving you apprehension, fear, questioning, oh, too much, to the point of stalling. So I feel that they're saying go more into the heart space. I'm not saying to ignore your mind. That would be foolhardy. Your mind is a tool and it's there to help. But don't be all of the mind, okay? Go back into your heart and understands that not everything can be explained away, okay? Gut feelings and things happening randomly that you go, that was strange that happened after I got that feeling. These things happen, and the mind has no control over that. This is something that's beyond us. That's beyond this planet. It's beyond the bodies. It has to do more with the oneness of who we are, okay? And that is very closely connected to the heart, because a good feeling is an open feeling. That's why love works. Love opens the doors, okay? And it brings in abundance. It brings in knowledge, and it brings in more, okay? So you go from the student to the one who receives, who has the abundance, who has the wealth, the success, okay? So, and it has also the stubbornness to just keep going, right? To know that there is great gifts in this kind of energy. All right, so that's it for your Sunday. What is it saying? It's saying tap into your heart space. Yes, use your brain, but use it as a tool to diagnose if you're in your heart space or you're just in your scared space. That would be the biggest one. Are you in the movement heart space? Are you in the abundance space? Are you in the scared rabbit space? And you should know right away, okay? Sometimes you need to have real conversations with yourself, but sometimes we stop at the mind. The thing we forget to do is to question the mind itself. If you question the mind's rationalization, you might find some really enlightening answers to that. When I question the mind, that's when all of the other energy sources in the body answer. When I'm afraid of something, my base chakra comes into light and says, ooh, this is something that you suffered as a kid, and it scares you. When sometimes I'm scared, ooh, it's the heart space squeezing tightly in fear of losing somebody or something. Listen to yourself. There's a lot going on. Much more than you think. Much more than you think. See what I did there? See what I did there? Yeah, I know. It's fabulous. All right, my beautiful Pisces. That's it. I'm going to come back and do the extended, the follow-up. We're going to see how you're doing on Tuesday. So if you want to follow in and continue on, just subscribe. And just come and check in on Tuesday with me. We'll see how you're doing. We'll see what Spirit has as advice for you. They're always pretty good, and they're always wanting for you to live your very best energy. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you later. Bye for now.